Tash.
I'm Alex.
And we are France by Mistake, and this is part 2 on driving in France because it's quite a heavy subject. We were talking about roundabouts and people flying onto them, so you need to be aware of that. Talking of roundabouts, I love a French roundabout. I love the effort that goes into these roundabouts. I'm not sure they need the distraction. And I don't think there's many countries I don't know. I mean, in the UK, we wouldn't decorate a roundabout the way the French decorate a roundabout. But
no, the one in our local town is always, there's always got a theme to it.
Yeah.
So, it might be obviously at Christmas, there's a big Christmas thing, but they might decide to do something.
Butterfly or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
And in the south, there was one where they had this boy and he had an oyster as his surfboard. And the problem is I like to take pictures as I'm going round the roundabout because actually I should have my own Insta French roundabout account because I love it, but it's not very safe to do so. But especially around the seaside-y ones, you'll get like beach hearts and they're just beautiful. So
another one of our local towns is called Tonchebury, and on the roundabout it says "I love TB," which always makes me laugh as I go past it.
I didn't know that.
Oh, so I noticed.
I didn't know that. Okay, so that's funny, yeah. And also the lack of indicator use. Like there are indicators in every car worldwide, I don't think.
Yeah, I think it's an international thing. Yeah. I think sometimes you feel like just getting out and smashing the French ones. You don't bother.
Yeah, you just need to. Again, you need to anticipate that someone isn't going to let you know if they're turning left, right. Oh, another thing is they have this. They like to. Well, here in Normandy, they like to leave the car running. So they leave it running to go into the boulangerie. Now, if I did that in Croydon, my car wouldn't be there when I got out. And I know it's safe, and also like dropping kids off at school, the engine is running, and I suppose you would. I don't know. We just tend to switch our car off, don't we?
You do. And take the keys out.
We leave it.
Yeah.
So I always find that quite comical. That and I haven't done it as yet, but I don't know. Maybe one day when I'm.
Maybe they don't do it so much in bigger towns, but certainly where we live, people just get out and leave the keys in the car and they go to the post office. They'll, say go to the boulangerie.
Well, they like to drive off quite quick as well at the bus stop for the kids as well. I've noticed some kids have barely got their leg out the car before the parent has driven off at breakneck speed. Yeah. So there's that as well. So I'm not saying all your French parents are like that, but I've seen a few that I think can the boy get out of the car first. So,
yeah, absolutely.
But what I do like here is motorway driving. It's such a pleasure to drive because the motorways are just so they're just not congested like they are. I mean, I'm sure they are.
Yeah, sometimes if you're going on holiday and you're going to a hotspot, and you might hit sort of a bit of congestion on a périphérique, but generally you've got a really clear run. The tolls are fantastic.
Yeah, I love it.
And the service stations are amazing.
I've got a little badge, so I call it like wacky races. So you drive up and it just goes beep, and it lets you go. So you don't have to faff with cards, or we'll put a link in how you can get one of those if you like.
It's a game to make sure that you get, because it's 30 kilometres, and you just go through and think, can I do 30 through it?
Is it that? You have to, is there a speed limit for it? I didn't know. I just like rock
This is the woman who's got several
tickets.
Got
got
tickets.
previous. Yeah. But no, I just think it's like Wacky Races. If you ever remember that cartoon.
Yes, I remember it well.
What was that? What was his name?
Dastardly Muttley.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
So it's like that, and then when you come out, it's like a big free for all because it just goes into a point.
Yeah, there's no lines at the other side.
No, so it's just like go for
it.
But the thing with what you learn is that they don't really give you enough. They don't give you lots of notice that you need to come off, and you need to be aware of that because when you go wrong in France, you've gone wrong for a good 30 minutes. It's not like you can just spin it round to win it and come back. I've holidayed a lot in France, and there's always like a hairpin bend that my ex never used to slow down. Can I say that?
Yes, of course. Yeah.
But so you're sort of hacking it along, and
you suddenly go from 110 to 60.
Yeah, but there's always like a hairpin bend.
Oh yeah, to come
coming
back
off the motorway. And in the UK we have countdown markers, so you're like, oh yeah, I've got to come off. So it's 3, 2, 1. But here it's like you've got to come off. you've got to come off now, and you're on that. You when you're trying to decide whether, do we come off there? Do we come off there? You have to make a decision.
Yeah, and then there's always a camera sitting there waiting to catch you.
So you've got to, so just be aware of that, you need to decide very quickly. And if it says you've got to come off, you come off, just because they're not giving you any more notice. It's the same with the deviations as well. Like if something's deviated, they'll tell you, but you won't get another sign for miles or kilometres.
No,
so you'll be thinking, have
I
gone wrong? Have I gone wrong? And it's just like, you'll have one sign, and then you're just meant to just like guess when you go 10 miles and think, am I still on the right deviation?
Yeah, and then you start making your own mind up.
Yeah,
because your GPS is telling you otherwise.
Then you start doubting yourself. So you have that as well, don't you? What else do we want to say about with the SANEF?
Learning to drive in France is quite interesting. Both our children are learning to drive at the moment, and getting near to the end of that.
Yeah,
I've had to do it through a pandemic, which is not ideal. But there's two ways of learning to drive in France. You can either do the intense course, which is pretty much like they do in the UK. You've got your theory test to start with, which is quite difficult actually.
Yeah, it is very hard.
Yeah, and then you go on to do the practical test. Now you can do that with a driving school, 20 hours or 25 hours, and then you take the test. That means your insurance is quite high when you finish that one. Whereas the other option is you take your 20 hours plus you do a year.
That's what ours have done.
Yeah, they've done
accompanied driving.
Accompanied driving with us.
And believe it or not, the insurance goes down when you add your teen to your. Which is totally whack.
I expected to have to pay a premium to add him to my insurance, but it was exactly the same, and everything's the same. As in, if I crash my car or he crashes it, the excess is exactly the same. So it was really good, and his insurance will be cheaper when he finishes the course. Or when he finishes, but he's got to do 3,000 kilometres within a year.
Yeah.
And
you have a little book they have to write it in, and and everything else. But I think it's actually cheaper in a way, and you also can get a loan. Certain banks it's interest free. I think it's £1,500
£1 a day.
£1 a day,
or €1 a day. Sorry.
To have a loan for your driving test. So it makes it, I feel here for youngsters it's easier to become independent and an adult, and it's cheaper because
you can start when you're 15, can't you? Start to learn, which is what is system.
And you can get a scooter license at 14. So my son did his scooter when he was 15, and it was over 2 days. It was about €260. So it's about, especially in rural Normandy, it's about getting your youngsters mobile out and about, because otherwise you will be in the car driving them kilometres and kilometres, which is what I do a lot of. Yeah,
we both do that because despite the fact they've got scooters, it does rain a lot here, so
so
you end up taking them.
There's fog and obviously weather conditions and tractors and everything else, but once you can get one of your children mobile, you're sort of halfway there to not be clocking up. I think I do about 300 kilometres a week, which is something you need to bear in mind when you're thinking of a rural property, and it's so idyllic, and also when the kids get older, they want to be near a town where they can walk in with friends. So bear that in mind if you've got young children and you're moving to France. Like, do you really want to be in the middle of nowhere?
I mean, it's got its ups, it's got its downs. But they tend to make friends with people who are in villages, So, and their school obviously is sort of catering to villages, so the kids come in from there. So that's great, and they just get on their scooters now, both of them, don't they, and whiz off, or they'll have a party in your house, which is what's happening tonight.
Yeah, I've got to leave. So.
You've got to leave your own house.
Anything else about driving in France?
I would just say I'll just reiterate that the motorway services are amazing. They're clean. You get a good meal.
They've still got that toilet though, where you've got to stand, and I never know how to do it.
It's a Turkish toilet, don't you? Yeah.
Where you've got to stand and piss basically in the hole.
Yeah. You need to.
You're meant to face the other way.
No. You just got to work on those thigh muscles.
I know, but it's just like, and there's normally. I don't know. I just think that they need to get rid of those.
Yeah, but you don't have to use those. They do have the other toilets. It depends on the service station you're using. But generally, they have great viewpoints as well. They'll just have one which is just a toilet, and you can have a picnic, and it's just fabulous. So, they look out for the drivers,
lorry drivers look after.
Yeah, they really do look after lorry drivers, coach drivers. People in motor homes and things like that. So camping and travelling in France is just amazing.
Yeah, and also just in general, the road. Everyone goes on about it. A Brit, I've never met a Brit who doesn't talk about the quality of the roads. Have you? At some point.
Yeah, the quality of the roads in France is it's great.
Like the surface, and also just they repaint the lines, and also you'll see people cleaning the road furniture, so the signs. So when I go back to UK, I'm like, oh, how grubby the signs are.
A3.
But here, everything is all. There's a man that, and I always want to take a picture of the man cleaning the sign for the road, and also the little bollardy things.
Yeah, exactly. All the furniture, even the local villages, like our local village and yours, the same. Is that they go round, they make sure that it's weeded, it's litter free. I mean, it's absolutely. I mean, you feel
like you're in a sci-fi movie, don't you? At times,
yeah.
You think, how is this happening? Like there's street furniture being cleaned. It's a bit like A&E when you get seen straight away. I think where do I live?
That's another story.
So
definitely.
we will definitely do that. But some brilliant things about driving in France. Obviously, we've touched on some of the sort of more amusing way in which driving it. I think it has improved a bit actually, because when I first came, I'd see.
It's just that we've got worse.
Yeah, I think so. I actually think so. Yeah. I think people are horrified now when they come over my driving.
Yeah, I do drive like
a maniac.
Maniac. When you get over to the UK,
you're like, what's this? We do drive it. I don't know. You're just so used to like the open roads and the bends and and dodging roadkill. Mind you, come cropper.
Oh yeah, I hit a dog the other day.
I did a bird. His head went that way, and the other one, because French birds are quite nonchalant.
Yeah,
they're like, I'll fly up when it suits me.
Yeah.
And you're hacking it along, and
I just like to point out I didn't kill the dog. It was fine.
No, I've killed this bird. Yeah, I just thought, right, I thought I did slow down, but it just decided it wasn't going to fly up. So its head went one way, and its body went the other way in my grill.
All right, and on that note,
okay, we'll see you another time.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
That was long.
Yeah, it was. It's still going. Stop.